Julius Malema, the head of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, is attempting to establish his party as a potential substitute inside the precarious alliance as tensions within the Government of National Unity, GNU, rise. According to Malema, the GNU, which is now made up of the Democratic Alliance, the African National Congress, ANC, and a number of minor parties, is unsustainable and on the verge of disintegrating. The widening split between the ANC and the DA over controversial policies, such as the recently enacted 2025-26 national budget and the Basic Education Laws Amendment bill, is at the heart of Malema's approach. Malema claims that the budget's ratification in early April 2025 without the DA's backing is proof that a coalition is already disintegrating. In reference to the ANC's dependence on minor parties like the Patriotic Alliance rather than its main GNU partner, Malema said, "I'm happy that we were able to prove to South Africans that there is nothing called the GNU. It collapsed in front of us." He expects things to become worse, especially as the ANC gets closer to its elective conference in 2027. Due to the DA's participation, the EFF had previously refused to join the GNU in 2024. Malema now maintains that the removal of the DA is a prerequisite for the EFF's readiness to rule. He said, "When they start fighting with Helen Zille, Sayangina, we are entering," implying that a confrontation between Zille and the head of the DA Federal Council would provide the opportunity the EFF has been waiting for. In contrast to the EFF's position as defenders of South African sovereignty, Malema also accused the DA of encouraging foreign meddling. This accusation is expected to strike a chord with ANC groups who are uncomfortable with the DA's Western-leaning policies. Malema's remarks generated conflicting responses on social media. One user said, "Julius Malema has finally accepted to join GNU," while another urged, "Come back home." Even while there are still unknowns, Malema is becoming more confident. His idea of an ANC-EFF partnership could soon become a political reality as tensions inside the GNU increase. Once again, Julius Malema, the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, has responded forcefully to the recent acquittal of notorious Nigerian preacher Timothy Omotoso, promising that if his party gains power, justice would be given for the claimed victims. Malema criticized the legal system for failing to protect vulnerable South Africans, particularly young women, after Omotoso's acquittal by the Port Elizabeth High Court on April 2, 2025. If the EFF gains significant influence, especially if the current Government of National Unity, GNU, collapses and new political dynamics emerge, we will prioritize reopening the case, he said. Malema said, "Timothy Omotoso must never be allowed to walk free. Justice cannot be insulted since this guy is accused of harming our children. We will revive this case and make sure that the victims are heard and that justice is served if the EFF wins power." Many social justice activists have echoed Malema's request for a new legal strategy, which has spurred a national discussion on the status of gender-based violence prosecutions in South Africa. Following years of widely reported judicial processes, Omotoso, a televangelist and the head of the Jesus Dominion International Church, was found not guilty. The horrific stories of young female attendees who claimed to have been abused and used by Omotoso and his friends garnered extensive media attention to the case. The court dismissed the allegations mostly due to procedural difficulties and a lack of hard evidence. Critics contend, however, that the court overlooked the difficulties abused victims experience in establishing their claims, especially in well-publicized instances involving influential people. Malema's pledge is consistent with the EFF's long-standing stance against gender-based violence and support for victims. The party has often attacked the courts for what it perceives to be an uneven and forgiving response to instances involving corruption and abuse. In light of the nation's potential political realignment, Malema's most recent remarks are also seen as a calculated attempt to establish the EFF as a party firmly dedicated to justice and the defense of marginalized populations. By emphasizing emotionally sensitive topics like justice for abuse survivors, the EFF may be trying to garner support as tensions within the GNU and public discontent rise. Malema maintains that the battle is far from over, even though it is still unclear if there are any legal grounds to reopen the case against Omotoso. He said, "We will not give up until the victims receive justice, even if it takes years." The acquittal of Omotoso has caused many South Africans to feel angry about the efficiency and speed of judicial changes and to reawaken old scars. Malema's pledge increases.